At the dawn of cosmic conflict, before the final reckoning of heaven and hell, there arose a force both wild and untamable. Fury, born of the Nephilim, was shaped amid the carnage of worlds, her heart forged in ambition, her will a storm that would never bend. In her, pride and wrath were sharpened to a blade's edge. This is not merely the tale of a horseman, it is the saga of the Tempest herself. I am Vigil, and this is Video Game Lore. Today, we recount in unbroken detail and unyielding tone the legend of Fury, her beginnings, her journey, her powers, and the crucible that will decide the fate of all things. Fury was brought forth into existence as one of the Nephilim, a race both feared and infamous, and she joined her siblings in the relentless campaign of annihilation, a crusade that left countless worlds in ruin. While her brothers and sisters saw the Nephilim's rampage as a danger to the cosmic balance, Fury's eyes were only fixed on the opportunities it presented for her own advancement, her own supremacy. When her siblings made their pilgrimage to the Charred Council, seeking atonement and perhaps a new path, Fury's reaction was defiance. She snapped at the ancient arbiters, demanding that they hurry matters along or perhaps command Death himself to serve them tea. Once Fury's boiling temper subsided, the ritual was completed, and in that moment, the Four Horsemen were imbued with powers beyond mortal comprehension, with might that could unmake or preserve worlds. Yet before they could claim the full mantle of horsemen, the four Nephilim were cast into the Farfields, a realm presided over by the Horsemaster. The Horsemaster, shrouded in legend, commanded them to abandon all their weapons, for the beast they sought to master would yield only to will, never to steel or might alone. War, never one to shrink from a contest, threw down a wager. Who among them would tame a mighty horse first? Fury and Strife, quick of tongue and sharp of wit, mocked War for his ceaseless boasting. But the Horsemaster rebuked them, his voice thunderous, scolding them for their childish squabbling. In the silence that followed, Death acted first, seizing despair from the stampede, and one by one the others followed his example. Fury herself claimed Rampage, a steed as fiery and indomitable as her own soul. Rampage would remain her steadfast companion for years untold, one of the precious few things to ever earn her genuine affection. Their first command as horsemen was nothing less than genocide, to erase their own kind from existence. Fury enacted this grim duty with neither hesitation nor remorse, and her heart did not waver as she culled the Nephilim from the tapestry of creation. After the eradication of the Nephilim at Eden, she was sent to an unknown world with Death and Strife to reign in War, who had lost himself to unchecked violence. When the trio confronted their brother, Fury felt War's wrath as he flung her aside, and as he was about to end her, Death stepped in the way, taking Chaos Leader through the chest. When War's rampage was ended, Fury and the others faced the Council once more and were dispatched on a fresh mission. As the horsemen entered Hell, Fury's instinct rang out. There was silence where there should have been screams, a stillness foreboding and unnatural. She voiced her suspicion of a trap. Their path was blocked by Samael, the Demon Lord, who ultimately permitted them to pass. Fury stood with her siblings in the shadow of the Council's judgment as Death confessed the origins of the grand abominations, horrific weapons forged from the very remains of the Ravalim. Fury felt her stomach turn with revulsion as she learned the true nature of their creation. When Death refused to betray the location of the Abomination Vault, Fury's voice trembled with dread. She pleaded for him to reveal it, fearing the Council's patience was thin and his defiance could cost him his life. But Death stood unyielding. The Council commanded that the horsemen resolve the matter swiftly, but Death, with a will as cold as the void, ordered Fury, Strife, and War to stand aside, denying them the right to bear this burden. Fury's voice dripped with scorn, as she accused Death of yet again trying to protect them from the darkness that was as much theirs as his. After Death's departure, Fury, Strife, and War were left to wrestle with their conflicted hearts. After much debate, Fury and Strife reluctantly agreed to honor Death's wishes, though War's loyalty drew him after their elder brother. Death did eventually dispatch Dust to summon Fury and Strife, calling them to battle Hadramon and Belisatra on the scarred world of the Ravalim. But the Council's hand stayed them. Azrael arrived in their stead and delivered the word to Death and War that their siblings were being held in reserve, a precaution should factions hungry for the grand abominations make a move. Death, with grim wisdom, speculated that the Council valued Strife and Fury not for their powers, but as a failsafe should he, War, and the angels fall. In time, Fury was sent to the Silver Wall, an angelic outpost, to aid in its defense against Hadramon and Belisatra. When the battle ended, Fury and Strife were ordered to hunt the foes, but Death and War lured them to the vault and ended the threat themselves. A millennia later, and a decade after the premature apocalypse, Fury found herself sighing in a world stripped of purpose, bemoaning the endless monotony that now filled her days. She openly mused to Rampage that if she'd known eternity as the Council's chief enforcer would consist of such tedium, she would have gladly let war kill her. As Rampage approached her, she threatened with a twisted smile that if she didn't love him so fiercely, she might just kill him to have something to do. But fate is never idle. The call of the Horsemen echoed, and Fury answered, striding into the Council's chambers to find War in chains. She could not resist a barb, asking what pathetic fate he had wrought on himself this time. The Council's pronouncement was grave. War was accused of unleashing the apocalypse ahead of its time. Fury's skepticism was immediate. She demanded to know how, but the Council confessed ignorance. They told her that unknown forces had set the 7 deadly sins loose upon the earth, and with death and strife absent, only Fury remained to contend with the chaos. The Council reminded her it had once taken all 4 of the Horsemen to subdue the sins. Fury, ever ambitious, agreed to the quest on one condition, that she be made the leader of the 4 Horsemen. The Council, calculating, agreed. A Watcher was appointed to accompany her, and with honeyed words, the Watcher flattered Fury into accepting. The Council commanded her to begin her hunt at Haven. Before she left, War, ever the Sentinel, warned her that something was very wrong with the universe, that unseen hands were moving against the Horsemen. With her path set, Fury descended to a ruined earth. Upon landing in a world ravaged by demons and the restless dead, Fury carved her way toward Haven, her Watcher at her side. The Watcher noted they neared their destination and expressed dread at the thought of facing envy, insisting that envy was a true horror. Within a derelict building, a bird-like demon with an amulet leapt down, screaming, "Mine!" The amulet's glow intensified. The creature shrieked that all the earth would belong to her, and that the Horsemen would be hers too if she did not leave. After a brutal struggle, Fury overpowered the creature and seized the amulet. When the Watcher reminded her to capture, not kill envy, Fury silenced her, producing the amulet. It turned white, and white energy engulfed envy, crushing her, and her essence was drawn into the amulet, now shining green. The Watcher explained that envy had used the vessel to absorb power from the other sins. Fury declared she would use it as a prison for them all. The Watcher noted the green glow would reveal the sin's nearness, and Fury pressed forward. The Watcher cautioned that envy was by far the weakest of the sins, and the others would not fall so easily. She described the fractured state of Earth. Angels and demons had carved out their own territories. The sins roamed free, and they preyed on all, enemy and ally alike. Fury relished in the challenge, stating it would be all the more fun. Chaos was her arena. As they crossed the ruined land, Fury mused that though she had always expected war to bring the apocalypse, she was almost impressed by the scale of destruction he had unleashed. The Watcher, ever eager to flatter, declared Fury had no equal among the Horsemen. When they reached Haven, Fury was struck by the Maker's Tree, its roots vast and stretching for miles. The Watcher suggested some survivors might seek refuge there. Just before reaching the tree, Volgrim, the demon merchant, emerged from a serpent hole. Fury immediately lashed her whip around his throat, but Volgrim insisted he meant no harm, offering his wares for souls. Fury, ever suspicious, released him. Volgrim introduced himself, explaining that even at the end of the world, there was no excuse not to make a living. Fury demanded information about the 7 sins. Volgrim replied that there were rumors the Horsemen were being used as pawns, victims of some greater plot. He offered the first piece of information for free, but insisted on payment for more. Then he vanished. Fury dismissed him and entered the Maker's Tree. Inside, humans fled as the Makers shielded them. Fury threatened him, reserving the right to kill him on the spot, and demanded his name. The Maker, relieved, introduced himself as Ulthane, the Black Hammer. The Watcher confirmed his identity, and Ulthane admitted that, while he used to create wonders, he's now focused on building weapons. The Watcher observed that the conflict was not his war, and Ulthane agreed, adding that he protected humans because, like the Council, he valued balance. Fury scoffed, questioning why she should bother protecting a species so bent on self-destruction, declaring they could suffer for eternity for all she cared. Jones, a human with nothing left to lose, stepped forward and, undaunted, asked why she was there if not to help. Ulthane tried to silence him, warning that Fury was not to be provoked, but Jones pressed on, demanding to know what the endless wars between angels, demons, makers, and horsemen were truly for. Fury, oddly impressed by his nerve, spared him. Ulthane once again asked for Fury's help, offering upgrades to her arsenal in return. He gave her the bridge, a device to send any human she rescued directly to Haven, where they would be safe. Fury grudgingly accepted, calling it a non-deal. As a gesture, Ulthane told her Wrath's location, deep beneath the city in the Nether, and reminded her Haven was open to any who asked. Fury and the Watcher descended into the Nether. There, she found a terrified human begging for her life. Instead, Fury produced the bridge, offering the survivor a chance at safety. After some hesitation, the human accepted. Vanishing to Haven, Fury, unimpressed, scoffed at humanity's intelligence, wondering how they had ever ruled the earth. In the depths, Fury glimpsed Sloth across the chasm, the Watcher commenting on his repulsiveness. Deeper still, they found Wrath locked in combat with Angel. Fury and the Watcher crossed the ravine, as Wrath slaughtered the last Angel. The Watcher observed his joy in dismantling celestial beings. Fury replied, "We all need a hobby," and leapt to challenge him. Wrath, towering and furious, sneered, "Fight or crawl, witch." Fury, now angered, launched herself at him, beginning a brutal duel. She drove Wrath back, then tried to summon Rampage, her faithful steed. Her eyes went wide with horror as she saw Rampage, pierced by an angelic spear, staggering and collapsing. Fury screamed, rushing to her dying companion, begged him to rise. But Wrath showed no mercy. He stabbed Fury through the gut, hoisting her high, stating, "It's funny what you remember between screams," slamming her down. He mocked her intellect, repeating that everyone always said she was the dumb one, then lifted her again, telling her the angrier she became, the stronger he grew. Wrath stumbled as his sword snapped, laughing that she hadn't even scratched the surface of his rage. Fury, defiant, shoved the blade deeper through her own body, screaming, "Then let me dig deep." She flung herself backward, stabbing Wrath in the face. Both of them collapsed. As Fury, Wrath, and Rampage lay sprawled in the dirt, Fury slowly regained her senses. She realized they had been set up, pawns in a game beyond their kin. "There are greater forces at work," she muttered, calling to the Watcher for aid. A portal opened beneath her, and as darkness claimed her, Fury slipped into unconsciousness. Fury awoke, healed, standing before an immense figure who addressed an angel and a demon, asking if they came to him willingly, as Hollowing demanded. The Lord of Hollows, as he called himself, offered the weary combatants the ultimate release, an end to the cycle of death and rebirth. Their souls erased from the well of souls, turned to ash. Fury, rising to her feet, called the angel and demon cowards. The Lord of Hollows turned to her, declaring that she was impetuous and a deluded pawn of the council. He asked if she knew where she was. Fury retorted that his stench gave him away, and that the Hollows were a hell in their own right. The Lord of Hollows agreed, then explained the consequences of the war for balance were beyond her comprehension, and he wondered aloud if he should hollow her as well. The Watcher appeared, and the Lord of Hollows dismissed her as proof of Fury's status as the council's puppet. Fury demanded silence, proclaiming her sole purpose was to capture the 7 deadly sins and protect the balance. The Watcher protested her sincerity, but the Lord of Hollows dismissed her words as lies. To test Fury's resolve, the Lord of Hollows summoned legions of shadowy skeletons. Fury fought, cutting down wave after wave, but more always came. At last she realized it was not a test of battle, but of restraint and wisdom. The Lord of Hollows calls off his minions, telling her the lesson was to show strength by resisting raw impulse. Fury, impatient, demanded he spare her his lectures, vowing to claim her place as leader of the Horsemen after she destroys the sins. The Lord of Hollows relented, granting her the Flame Hollow. Fury and the Watcher pressed on, fighting through the undead and the chosen, reaching the lower levels of the abandoned museum. Fury spotted what she thought was a child and offered the bridge, but the child revealed itself as a ghoul. Battling through the swarming undead, Fury finally reached the main hall, an art exhibit transformed into a mountain of junk and treasures. The Watcher, noting the amulet's glow, warned her to be wary. A bathtub hurtled at Fury, who dodged just in time. A short, gangly creature, burdened with countless trinkets, leapt into the room, lamenting that some people didn't appreciate the finer things. Fury recognized the sin, Avarice, the embodiment of greed. Avarice welcomed her to his treasure room, demanding her life as an entrance fee. Fury dared him to try, and the two clashed in a wild melee. Fury triumphed, taunting Avarice to enjoy his treasures one final time before sealing him in the talisman. The Watcher, aghast at the destruction of so much art, asked if Fury knew the value of what she'd just destroyed. Fury replied coolly, "A sinner's life." A portal opened, pulling Fury back to the Lord of Hollows. He welcomed her, explaining she had yet to grasp the true power he offered. He commended her for defeating Avarice, proving she was above material possessions, and bestowed upon her the Storm Hollow. Fury asked why not grant her all his powers at once. He dismissed her, sending her back through the portal. Fury pressed onward, her talisman glowing faintly as she approached the ruins of a once sacred church. The world was cracked and hollowed, with the remnants of faith scattered like dust. Suddenly, a blinding flash of light erupted before her, and from within the radiance, the sin of pride materialized, her presence cold, imperious, and dripping with disdain. Pride fixed her gaze on Fury, and with a voice as smooth and polished as marble, declared her disappointment. So the council sends you, the best of their champions? How tragic that among the Four Horsemen, the lowliest is all they can muster. Fury, never one to be cowed, replied with venomous wit, "You remain as charming as ever, Pride, but I am here for you." Pride, unmoved, dismissed Fury's approach with a flick of her hand. Fury's attacks rebounded harmlessly off Pride's mystical shield, forcing Fury to snarl. With that, Pride tore open a rift, a dimensional portal to Ares, and told Fury that only when she was worthy she should seek her out there. The Watcher called Pride insufferable. As they stepped into the shattered church, Fury looked around, bitterness in her voice as she questioned why humans clung to places brimming with religious iconography. She pondered aloud how these mortals, who once held the fruit of creation, could squander it on fables and artifacts. What did the Creator ever see in them, she wondered. Outside, the Watcher spotted an angelic outpost, and Fury confirmed that was where they were headed. As they neared, the Watcher made a jest at Rampage's expense, prompting Fury to remind her companion that she was there to watch, not to speak. But the Watcher hinted at a deeper purpose. Upon entering the angelic outpost, Fury was met with hostility. Angelic warriors filled with outrage surged towards her. She met their fury with her own, dispatching both light and heavily armored angels with merciless precision. Suddenly, a commanding voice pierced the chaos, halting the assault. An archangel ascended from above, introducing himself as Usiel. While Usiel asked if she had come to finish what war has started, she tells him he doesn't care about war's crimes. Usiel pressed her for the purpose, and she revealed she was on a mission to hunt the 7 deadly sins for the council. She accused the angels of betrayal. Her steed, Rampage, had been slain with an angelic weapon before she even summoned him. Usiel admitted no knowledge of her mission or the conspiracy against the horsemen, but the Watcher interjected, speaking of Usiel's honor. Fury, however, was not mollified and insisted that the truth did not require his knowledge. Usiel then offered a proposal. He confessed his own troubles, losing many angelic soldiers to the undead. He revealed that the only one capable of such resurrection was the sin, lust. Fury was incredulous, knowing lust did not wield such power. But Usiel insisted that an unknown demon had taught lust how to raise the dead, bringing both angels and demons to life. Fury demanded to know what Usiel would do for her if she dealt with lust. "Anything within my power," he pledged, handing her salvation, an ancient angelic crossblade, a sign of trust. Fury agreed to hunt lust, warning Usiel that if he discovered who killed Rampage or tried to kill her, she would wring the truth from lust's lip. Usiel accepted, promising to repay her with any knowledge he gained. With salvation in hand, Fury's path led her through the ruined world, where she again encountered Vulgrim. The demon merchant tempted her, offering 1,000,000 souls in exchange for salvation, but Fury refused. She pressed him for information about the undead haunting the land. Vulgrim called them the Unlife and promised to share news if he heard more. As Fury moved on, a monstrous tentacle crashed down near her, nearly crushing her as she and the Watcher speculated about its origins. Approaching the outskirts of the cargo ship, Fury was seized by the tentacle, a giant squid-like monstrosity. She used her crossblade to blind the beast and slipped past. Both she and the Watcher speculated it might be one of the sins, but leaving it for later. As they closed in on Lust's lair, the Watcher remarked that the ship did not look like a place befitting of Lust. Fury replied knowingly that lust never appears as one would expect. Lust was the desire for anything and could appear as anyone, at any time, making the sin especially dangerous. Fury leaps inside the ship, where Lust's voice echoed, asking what Fury believed they could possibly lust after when there's nothing left in the world. "Power," Fury answered, but Lust dismissed her, lamenting that she thought Fury was the smart one. Lust tried to persuade Fury that they shouldn't be enemies this time, suggesting that the roles they were forced to play by the universe made them more alike than Fury realized. Fury rejected the overtures, demanding Lust save the seduction for the Charred Council. Lust pressed on, questioning Fury's motives for becoming a horseman, and pointing out her antagonism toward her brothers and her skepticism of the balance. Isn't it true, Fury? You never believed in the balance until it was convenient. I see your lust for power and protection after the Nephilim's fall. We are allies, not adversaries. Suddenly, 3 shots rang out. Lust fell bleeding. Fury turned to see strife, death, and war standing before her. Death instructed her to stand down, and Fury demanded to know why they were there. War declared they came to ensure the mission was completed, and Strife claimed to have already slain the other sins. Death asserted War's innocence, and the 3 revealed a conspiracy. Heaven and Hell had started the apocalypse. War told Fury that because of her unwavering devotion, she was to be the new leader of the Horsemen. And then the 3 horsemen knelt before her. But Fury, astute and proud, realized it was an illusion. She lashed out, shattering the vision with her whip. Lust, unscathed, laughed, saying that it was worth a try. Fury snarled that they did not know her as well as she thought. Lust insisted that that was exactly what made her dangerous, that what Fury truly lusted for was power and being seen as worthy as a leader. Lust promised she could make the illusion real if only Fury chose to accept it. Fury, angered, shouted that Lust should have never made her brothers kneel, and attacked with renewed fury. Their weapons clashed in a titanic struggle, interrupted by Usiel dropping from above to join the fray. Lust then turned her attention to Usiel, flattering him and then offering a deal. If he protected her from Fury, she would resurrect his beloved 7th Legion and grant him command of heaven itself. Usiel, caught in Lust's spell, turned on Fury, revoking his earlier pact. Fury battled them both, managing to hold back her blade against Usiel and finally overpowering Lust. Fury then pressed for answers. Who had granted Lust the power over death? Lust laughed, saying she was but a pawn, and that the angels who killed Rampage were all pawns as well. Fury demanded a name, but Lust refused, offering instead the location of Envy, the coward among the sins. The Watcher appeared, as Lust looked directly into the Watcher's eyes, and told Fury that Envy was the most pathetic of the sins, lacking any combat experience, and that if Fury brought Envy to Haven, her desires would be fulfilled. Fury, tired of being underestimated and manipulated, cut Lust's throat and absorbed her into the Talisman of Sin. She then turned to Usiel, holding her blade to his throat. Usiel, resigned, begged her to finish it, but Fury showed mercy, sparing his life. The Watcher objected, but Fury insisted that mercy could be just as intoxicating as Lust's power. She told Usiel that he owed her a favor, and that he should inform her if he learned anything more about the plot against the Horsemen. Usiel pledged his life and soul to her, and Fury told the Watcher that the mission was about balance, not just in the world, but within herself. She refused to become the thing Lust tempted her to be. As Fury turned to leave, another portal opened, and she was drawn once again before the Lord of Hollows. The Lord of Hollows greeted her, remarking that with each sin that she destroyed, she demonstrated growth. He observed that some beings become so obsessed with a single purpose that they lose all meaning, but was surprised to see Fury changing, becoming aware of her own flaws. He offered to list them, but Fury curtly replied she was already well aware. The Lord of Hollows then granted her the Force Hollow, warning her that their next meeting would be their last, and sent her back to her mission. The Watcher teased Fury that she was growing soft, but Fury retorted with a threat. The Watcher pointed out that Fury's transformation was natural, that good and evil were human constructs, and that the Charred Council existed to provide a semblance of order. Fury asked her to get to the point. The Watcher explained that Heaven and Hell were both vying for control over Earth, and that the Council's focus on Earth allowed the rest of the universe to remain untouched. Fury questioned the logic, but the Watcher said that doubt was the beginning of understanding. As they traversed the shipyard, Fury encountered the giant squid creature again, attacking it fiercely. The creature dove into a watery pit, and the Watcher noted the talisman's glow. Fury chose to pursue the creature, but first sought out Usiel for information. Usiel, grateful for his freedom, told Fury he had no new intelligence, but pledged to repay her. Fury thanked him and continued her journey. Fury and the Watcher made their way through train tunnels, rescuing more humans along the way. They soon encountered the stench of Gluttony. Fury entered a dark room filled with an illusionary feast, quickly realizing the deception and snapping out of it as Gluttony attacked. Gluttony was enraged that Fury broke his illusion and threatened to gut her, but Fury met his challenge head on. The Sin then vomited Rampage's severed head to enrage Fury, and the two fought savagely. Gluttony tried to drag Fury underwater and swallow her whole, but Fury used a mind to blow him apart from within, stabbing him with his own mandibles and sealing him in the talisman. Suddenly, another portal opened, and Fury was pulled before the Lord of Hollows yet again. He lamented the loss of surprises in the world, but Fury, exasperated, said she'd had enough. The Lord of Hollows, struggling with his own decline, bestowed the Stasis Hollow upon Fury, telling her that soon only one of them would survive. Fury questioned his motives, but he dismissed her questions and sent her on her way. Fury, disturbed by their last encounter, wondered aloud if the Lord of Hollows had helped her only to betray her in the end. The Watcher suggested he might be manipulating Fury, or perhaps he was simply going mad. Fury reflected on all she had abandoned and admitted that she was indeed changing, though she could not say how. Fury pressed onward, her quest for the sins taking her deeper into the shattered world. Along the way, as she continued to rescue scattered humans and send them to haven, the Watcher noticed the talisman glowing. Fury explained that the glow meant Sloth was close, and ordered the Watcher to remain silent and observe as she moved to confront the sin. Entering a cavernous opening, Fury beheld Sloth perched atop a throne fashioned from his own filth. She declared that he would be judged like the rest. Sloth, disinterested, replied that he had no desire to fight. Fury retorted that he had no option. Sloth shrugged and told her that the choice always existed, but that choosing itself was a burden. He claimed he was over the apocalypse. His only concern now, comfort, and offer Fury a few of his slaves so she could try a life of ease. Fury dismissed his offer, stating she would rest only after the sins were dead, but Sloth replied that he couldn't care less about the fate of the others. He called her quest futile and encouraged her to embrace the endless nothingness with him. Fury began to fall under his spell, but the Watcher broke through, questioning whether the great Fury would really succumb to Sloth's influence. Shaken, Fury snapped out of the trance and attacked, her whip shattering his throne and enraging Sloth. They clashed, and as the fight wore on, Sloth congratulated her on her fulfillment and mocked her belief in dignity and balance, calling dignity a myth. Fury countered that even the most grueling battle was preferable to a stagnant existence, and as she finished him, she used the Talisman of Sin to trap Sloth's soul within. Leaving Sloth's lair, Fury encountered Vulgrim, who complained that his travels through the serpent holes were being blocked by stone marauders. He told Fury that with the Flame Hollow, she had the means to clear them out. Fury was initially dismissive, but Vulgrim insisted the quest would be mutually beneficial, and that she could claim any treasure she found. Fury agreed to consider it and entered the serpent holes. Within the maze-like realm of the serpent holes, Fury confronted Aganash, a silent stone creature. She told him she had slain many of his kin and offered him a chance to speak before meeting the same fate. But Aganash answered with silence, prompting Fury to attack and defeat him, smashing his body to pieces. She returned to Vulgrim, who praised her acquisition of the Storm Hollow and encouraged her to continue on the next path. Fury pressed on, finding Zion, another stony behemoth. She threatened him, warning it to leave or be destroyed, and when he stood silent, she laughed and declared his doom, and then she shattered him as well. Vulgrim, sensing the Force Hollow, tried to flatter Fury, who told him to save his words unless he wanted to die. She continued through the serpent holes, encountered Rorrak, and after a brief exchange, destroyed him too. Once more she returned to Vulgrim, who noted nothing now stood in her way, including him as Fury threatened. She ventured to the next path, finding Dovox, and taunting him as he stomped in anger. She made quick work of him, returning to Vulgrim yet again. With the Stasis Hollow, Vulgrim told her she could now cleanse the serpent holes. Fury warned that if Vulgrim had lied, she would kill him. He laughed off the threat and told her to continue her slaughter and treasure hoarding. Fury moved through the portal to an open chamber where the broken bodies of Aganash, Zion, Rorrak, and Dovox lay. She was confronted by another stone creature, who then absorbed the bodies of the other four and became a towering stone construct named Ionos. He accused her of being the true invader. He revealed to Fury that they were the gatekeepers, and told Fury that Vulgrim had overstayed his welcome and been cast out. Fury realized Vulgrim had deceived her and cursed his name, but Ionos warned her she would not be as lucky as Vulgrim. They fought, and when Fury emerged victorious, Ionos faded away. Fury returned to Vulgrim, who congratulated her and claimed that justice had been served. Enraged, Fury demanded to know why she shouldn't kill him for causing the extinction of an entire species for his greed. Vulgrim insisted the blood was on her hands. Fury retorted that adding his blood wouldn't trouble her at all. Vulgrim, bargaining, offered her and the horsemen free passage through the serpent holes for eternity, but Fury demanded more. Vulgrim reluctantly agreed to give her the Abyssal Armor, crafted by the Mad Smith. Fury threatened him to hurry up and hand it over before she changed her mind. Back on Earth, Fury sensed Wrath's presence and resolved to finish their feud. Along her path, she rescued more humans and arrived at a demon-built tower. There, she met Abraxis, who claimed Vulgrim dealt in trash while he, Abraxis, dealt in class. Fury told him someone wanted him dead, and he replied that many did, singling out the weak and looking at the Watcher. Fury said the Lord of Hollows wanted him dead. Abraxis dismissed the Lord as a traitor. Then he explained he was building the tower for the Destroyer, and that the Lord of Hollows feared change, and that he intended to hollow the world and become a false god. Abraxis told Fury that the Lord of Hollows wanted him dead because he knew Abraxis would eventually hunt him down and kill him. He told Fury that while she maintained order, the Lord of Hollows thought of himself as order incarnate, and suggested Fury kill the Lord instead. Fury called Abraxis a silver-tongued demon. He replied, "The original." They fought, exchanging blows, and Fury ultimately slew him. She claimed his soul and left, the demons parting before her. Fury returned to the Lord of Hollows with Abraxis' soul. The Lord welcomed her to her final encounter, encasing them in a shadowy shield that shut out the Watcher. Fury demanded to know what was happening, and the Lord of Hollows told her that if she intended to strike him down, now was the time. Fury chose to spare him, explaining that Abraxis claimed the Lord of Hollows intended to use her and hollow out the earth. The Lord of Hollows was surprised that a demon finally spoke the truth and revealed he was once part of the Charred Council. He said he believed in the balance once, but over eons saw the council grow dogmatic, focusing on policing angels and demons and forgetting about humanity. He spoke of humanity's potential for universal balance and evolution, claiming that someone had prevented humans from fulfilling it, and that the council had allowed the apocalypse to start early out of fear. Lacking proof but certain of the signs, he said he prepared by gathering souls to help humanity realize their destiny and atone for his own complicity. Fury, frustrated, said she didn't understand, but the Lord of Hollows called her the Guardian and said he had chosen her to save the earth from the kingdoms of heaven and hell. He asked her to choose. After struggling, Fury shouted, "I choose life." The Lord praised her, saying she now had a purpose, and as he initiated his becoming, he became white light, leaving behind the stone sigil filled with souls. Fury took the sigil and left, the Watcher asking if she had killed the Lord. Fury replied that he was mad, and that she was tired of demons with delusions of grandeur. Returning to the demon stronghold to confront Wrath, Fury saw a tornado tearing through the area. She used the Force Hollow to move underground, and the Watcher remarked on her change. Fury admitted that even after ridding the world of sin, it would still be torn apart, even though she didn't know by whom it would come. The Watcher told her the Council chose her to complete this task because she possessed more power than she realized. Fury then reached an open area where the tornado blocked her path to Wrath and asked the Watcher if she could feel the power inside the vortex. The Watcher could not and advised Fury to avoid it, but Fury was intrigued. She decided to end the tornado's rampage by pouring out gallons of oil and igniting it with salvation in the Flame Hollow, setting the cyclone ablaze. As the tornado dissipated, a voice thanked her, and the Watcher remarked she hoped it was worth the risk. Fury asked the Watcher if she heard the voice, but the Watcher claimed only to have heard Fury's screams and a monster dying, a memory reminiscent of Rampage's death. Fury realized the tornado had been Rampage's tortured spirit and mused on the mysteries of the universe. The Watcher asked if Fury was ready for another round with Wrath, and Fury said she owed him a proper beating. Fury entered the elevator and ascended to an arena filled with angels, demons, and Wrath himself, all fighting in endless battle. Wrath, now massive, told Fury she was beautiful in her anger. He knocked her back and confessed that in another reality, he could have loved her. Fury fought him, landing a hard blow that shrank him to normal size. Wrath boasted that he invented anger, pulled out 2 swords, and continued the fight. He tried to behead Fury, but she dodged, and when he combined his swords and threw them, she caught the blade and hurled it back, impaling him and pinning him to the wall. "It seems I can fight you with ease." "Am I still beautiful?" Fury quipped, then sealed Wrath in the talisman. Fury descended the elevator, pausing to visit Ulthane, who thanked her for saving so many humans. He joked that the humans might even come to like her. Ignoring his jest, Fury headed to the church and entered the portal to Ares, determined to face the most powerful sin, pride. Within Pride's stronghold, Fury confronted the sin, who welcomed her and argued that pride was misunderstood, an empowering force, a reward for accomplishment. Pride tried to tempt Fury, offering her the truth. Someone had lied to her, and the balance itself was a lie. Together, they could bring true order and purpose to the universe. Fury, once susceptible, now scoffed, declaring that neither of them could fix the world. She attacked, breaking through Pride's mystical shield and smashing her into the wall. As Pride struggled, she asked Fury if she had spoken to the Lord of Hollows, noting his own pride. Fury demanded information about the Council. Pride confessed the Council was corrupted by pride, that it was they who had released the sins, and that their service to the balance was a sham. Fury pressed salvation to Pride's throat, demanding the whole truth. At that moment, the Watcher laughed, revealing that Fury already knew. Pride said Fury's real problem was fear. Fear that she had come too close to greatness and failed. The Watcher then blasted Pride into a statue, and in a shocking twist, tore off Pride's mask to reveal how scarred her face was. Pride, stunned, called out the Watcher's true name, Envy. Fury's eyes widened as the stronghold began to collapse. The Talisman of Sin sprang to life, trying to absorb Pride, but Envy, now fully revealed, seized it and trapped Pride inside, declaring, "Mine." Fury, enraged, charged Envy, but the Sin dodged, and as the roof caved in, Fury was pinned beneath the rubble. Envy then gloated, telling Fury that she envied her ignorance and her power. She boasted that with the help from her benefactors, she would claim all the might of the seven sins, destroy the Council, and take the earth for herself. Envy used the talisman to drain some of Fury's power and kicked her off the edge and into the abyss. Fury's battered form stirred as consciousness returned, her vision swimming until she realized she was not alone. Jones was sitting nearby, keeping watch. With his charismatic bluntness, Jones looked at her and remarked, "Looks like you've been busy getting your ass handed to you." Fury, wounded by more than just battle, demanded to know why he presumed to address her so casually, only for Jones to reply that he was merely a human refugee, not strong like her, not one tasked with protecting the balance. He said, "That's your job." Fury, her pride wounded but honesty raw, admitted to how weak she'd been. Jones countered, telling her that now, perhaps, she could finally understand how it felt to be human. Fighting in a war they never asked for, betrayed by those they trusted, yet still refusing to surrender. He reminded her, even when all hope seems lost, humans continue to fight on. Fury looked away, confessing that she had strayed from her path, that she had embodied every one of the seven deadly sins, and that the price had been exacted in full. Jones simply states that only means that now you have truly lived, and as long as you live, there is hope. Fury lamented that Envy was on her way to destroy the Charred Council, that she was stranded on Earth, and to her, all hope truly was lost. Jones countered that hope was the foundation of Haven itself, and told her to go speak with Ulthane. Taking Jones's advice, Fury descended the staircase and found Ulthane, who had finally finished the reflecting pool that he had been working on. She questioned Ulthane, asking why the humans had bothered to save her. Ulthane answered that it's simply what humans did, and besides, with all the ones she had saved, she had certainly earned it. He then told her that they didn't save her for her to give up now. He told her that Envy now held the might of the seven deadly sins, but this wasn't over, not yet. With humility unusual for her, Fury offered Ulthane the stone sigil, the Lord of Hollow's final gift. Ulthane shook his head, telling her she didn't know what she was offering. She said she knew it was important, but Ulthane said he believed she was meant to keep it, since he would never question whom the Lord of Hollows chose as its bearer. As Fury gazed in confusion at the stone structure, Ulthane explained it's a reflecting pool, and he made it just for her, and that it'll take her wherever her heart desires. Fury, resolve rekindled, stated that she wanted to finish what the council had started. Stepping into the reflecting pool, Fury felt herself transported to the council's sanctum, where the Charred Council was still locked in combat with Envy. The Sin's power roared through Envy as she laughed off the council's attacks, mocking them for having spent so long sitting and watching that they'd forgotten how to fight. The council, their fury unrestrained, accused her of blasphemy and promised her destruction, but Envy sneered, saying she was only doing what nobody else had dared. She told them that they had brought this on themselves, and when she was done, she would wait out the apocalypse and pick off any weakened generals left behind, and that the earth would finally be hers. At that moment, a portal opened, and Fury strode into the chamber. She declared to Envy, "It's over." The council, desperately clinging to their last shreds of authority, commanded Fury to slay Envy. Fury, her spirit unbroken, replied, You only command my scorn. Now you will know my fury." The council bellowed at her for insolence, but Fury told them it's the truth. She turned to Envy and demanded her surrender or die. Envy, amused, asked if Fury was serious. Fury, lips curled in a cold smile, said it was worth a shot. The final battle erupted, Fury facing Envy wielding the full force of the seven sins. Their weapons clashed, Envy firing and Fury deflecting with her crossblade, then hurling it to knock the guns back from Envy's hands. Enraged, Envy charged, gaining the upper hand and knocking Fury to the ground. Screaming, "It was mine, all mine, I deserved it," Envy pinned Fury, blade to her throat. Fury, refusing to yield, screamed out, "For the Horsemen," and kicked Envy in the face. Envy lunged, but Fury's whip found its mark, plunging through Envy's chest. As Envy fell, Fury seized the Talisman of Sin and crushed the sin's essence, sealing her within. The council, awestruck by Fury's victory, offered her a reward, but their tone quickly shifted. They declared they now had the power to kill the horsemen themselves, and that Fury and her brothers would be punished for their defiance. The council summoned a storm of fire, blasting Fury, who transformed into the flame hollow to resist. She screamed, "I will not die here, nor will I allow your corruption to spread." Desperately, she grabbed the stone sigil. Its power flared, and the council recoiled in terror, the attack ceasing. They demanded to know where she had obtained such a relic, insisting she surrender it. Fury refused, telling them that it was not meant for them. The council accused her of arrogance, but Fury retorted that this was their own pride speaking, and that the sigil had the power to destroy them, no matter how much they wished otherwise. She drew the Talisman of Sin from her belt and hurled it, triggering an explosion that blinded the council, and escaped through a portal as their sanctum began to collapse around them. Back at Haven, chaos reigned. The Makers and humans were beset by an unending horde of demons. Ulthane rallied the defenders, commanding them to stand as one if they wished to survive. Fury arrived through the portal and assessed the dire situation. She told Ulthane and the others they would not survive the onslaught, and warned that the council was most certainly fueling the attack from the shadows. She asked if Ulthane had a plan for saving the humans. Fury declared that heaven, hell, and the council all wanted humanity dead, but none of them understood why. She explained that humanity was created for a greater destiny, but had been left unprotected, and that since the beginning, those who feared humanity's potential sought to destroy them with war and sin, then blamed mankind for the carnage. "We can use their fear to win this war," she said. Ulthane reminded her that the survivors were all that remained of humanity, and they were in no shape to fight a war. Fury agreed, saying they must hide for now, and Ulthane concurred. He said the humans needed not just a hiding place, but a protector as well. As the humans gathered around the reflecting pool, a thunderous rumble outside drew Fury and the others to the brink. The destroyer, Abaddon, appeared, commanding his army to annihilate the last vestiges of humanity. Demons poured forth in an unending tide, assaulting Haven. The Makers fought valiantly to hold the line, buying time for the survivors. Ulthane called to Fury, telling her the Makers would hold off the demons while she got the humans to safety. As she ran back to the tree, she saw Jones sprinting by, twin guns blazing. The two exchanged looks as he passed. Fury asked where the humans would go, and Ulthane said the reflecting pool could send them to another world, wherever her heart desired. Fury, confused, confessed she didn't understand, but Ulthane assured her she would in time, as she spent more time with the humans. She asked why she should go with them, and Ulthane replied that the humans needed a protector, and she needed a purpose. The battle outside intensified, the demons gaining ground, the Makers beginning to fall. Fury resolved to use all her powers to defend humanity, vowing that together they would one day set this right. She told Ulthane that war was innocent, and that if he ever helped, Ulthane must aid him. Ulthane agreed. With a final look at the chaos, Fury entered the reflecting pool, and Ulthane turned to Aunt Jones and the other Makers. As Fury glanced back, she saw Jones moving with supernatural skill, cutting down demon after demon with his pistols. As he finished off a monstrous foe, he revealed himself, not as a mere human, but as her brother Strife, one of the Four Horsemen. Fury called out his name in shock as the portal activated and whisked her and the humans away to an unknown world. Elsewhere, Lilith approached a furious Lucifer, chiding her for not having killed the Lord of Hollows. Lucifer, unfazed, told her not to worry, for soon the council would send war to Earth, which would be a mistake, and that he would revel in the chaos. Nearly 90 years later, as war shattered the seventh seal, Fury was summoned to join her brothers. Strife, death, and war. against the combined might of heaven, hell, and the Charred Council. Fury, as one of the last living Nephilim and a true horseman of the apocalypse, is a force of nature incarnate. Her powers radiate from every fiber of her being, strength and resilience equal to her legendary siblings, yet channeled through the artistry of being a battle mage. War wields brute force, and death is a master of scythe. Fury is the tempest, her magic and her weapon, Scorn, working as an extension of her will, lashing out with the elegance and violence of a living storm. Her primary weapon, Scorn, the weapon born of the Madsmith's genius, is not merely steel, it is pure adaptability. A companion that bends to Fury's every need and every whim in the heat of battle. In its primary form, the barbs of Scorn, it becomes a whip, cracking through the air, lashing enemies with devastating reach, and coiling around obstacles to swing Fury across ravines or chasms. When the fires of the Flame Hollow surge through her veins, Scorn becomes the chains of Scorn, a pair of searing flails, perfect for close quarters carnage, each strike sparking explosions that leave only ashes and ruin behind. With the essence of Aganash, the Keeper, and the unleashed power of the Flame of Hollow, Scorn further transforms into claws of Scorn, razor-sharp talons that tear and rip, eviscerating her enemies in a frenzy of violence. The Force Hollow grants Fury the Mallet of Scorn, a colossal hammer that can shatter armor and defenses with a single earth-shaking blow. After Rorak falls to her might, Scorn evolves again, taking the form of the Axe of Scorn, a pitiless battle axe swung with such speed that it cleaves enemies in the sweeping arcs, mowing down all who would dare stand before her. When Fury calls upon the Storm Hollow, Scorn morphs into the Lance of Scorn, a spear that crackles with lightning, striking at mid-range and unleashing the electric death upon her foes. With Zion's demise, the Storm Hollow and the Construct's power fuse, and Scorn becomes a double-ended pole arm, able to strike faster and more often, a whirlwind of piercing steel and elemental fury. Should Fury invoke the Stasis Hollow, Scorn shifts into the Edge of Scorn, a broadsword perfectly balanced for both speed and power. This sword can split into a pair of short swords, allowing her to strike fast and heavy, slowing her enemies with every cut. After Dovox is vanquished, Scorn assumes perhaps its most ominous form, twin scythes, the scythes of Scorn, echoing those favored by her brother Death, and suited for reaping the lives of monsters and titans alike. Not only does Fury command Scorn, but she also wields Salvation, one of the 5 holy crossblades, its origins lost to legend, some saying it was forged by the Creator, others by the first and greatest of the Makers. Salvation is a weapon of all, able to channel her hollow magic and deliver devastating elemental attacks, a blade feared by demons, angels, and sins alike. Fury also has a Havoc form, a transformation that unleashes the true depths of her Nephilim power. When she is pushed to her limits, Fury's body doubles in height, her flesh turning crimson, her eyes burning with unrestrained wrath. A second whip grows in her grasp, and every motion is amplified. If she invokes a hollow while in Havoc form, she becomes a behemoth of elemental rage, a living inferno, a thunderstorm, or a juggernaut of force, each strike reshaping the battlefield. Fury's instincts in combat are honed to a razor's edge. She can dodge with supernatural reflexes, and her counterattacks, amplified by bursts of magical energy, can devastate foes far more than a standard blow. The effects and power of her counters shift based on her equipped hollow or weapon, giving her endless capability in the chaos of war. The Flame Hollow, first gifted by the Lord of Hollows, imbues Fury with the essence of fire. In this form, she walks unscathed through magma and lava, incinerate enemies and obstacles, and unleash explosive surges of flame with her charged attacks. When the Council unleashed their might against her, it was the Flame Hollow that shielded her from their power. With Immolation, her wrath ability, Fury engulfs herself in fire, setting all enemies within reach ablaze. The Storm Hollow, a gift earned through her relentless quest, grants her dominion over wind and lightning. She can hover above the ground, ride updrafts to soar to unreachable heights, and her charged attacks become blindly fast, capable of stunning even the most formidable adversaries. With Triple Tempest, her wrath surges out 3 bolts of lightning, followed by tornadoes that home in on her enemies, unleashing bursts of electricity and devastating shock. The Force Hollow is raw, unyielding power. Fury can alter her density and strength, slamming aside even Gluttony's titanic bulk underwater, where resistance would render normal blows useless. She can lift and hurl massive objects, resisting howling winds, and move effortlessly through the deep. Encasing herself in stone, she scales sheer crystal walls, becoming a living battering ram. Her Cataclysm ability creates a gravitational singularity, pulling all enemies in, then blasting them outward in a violent detonation. The final hollow, Stasis, is cosmic. The power of time and space made manifest as icy temporal stillness. Fury can walk upon water, climb Stasis' chilled walls, and with each charged attack, her blades become unblockable, passing through armor and flesh, trapping her foes in a void of timelessness. The Stasis Shield, her Wrath ability, conjures a barrier that renders her immune to time's passage, invincible for a heartbeat, and any enemy who strikes her finds themselves slowed, caught in the endless moment between seconds. Fury's Talisman of Sin, claimed from the false envy, is more than a trophy. It glows when a sin is near, allowing her to attack them, and after a sin's defeat, she uses it to imprison their essence. The amulet becomes a prison, a weapon, and a guide. Her arsenal is further bolstered by the Bridgestone, crafted by Ulthane the Black Hammer. With this relic, Fury can save any human she finds, sending them instantly to the safety of Haven with a single touch, offering a ray of hope in the world's darkest hours. Ulthane also bestowed upon her Rider's Mercy, an amulet that transforms the gratitude of every rescued human into newfound power for the Horsemen. The mysterious stone sigil, left by the Lord of Hollows upon his death, containing his essence and the souls of angels, demons, and humans. One day, it will serve as the seed for humanity's renewal. From Death, her brother, Fury inherited the Nephilim's respite, a flask capable of healing its bearer, channeling the power of life itself. Her armor, the legendary Abyssal Armor, forged by the Mad Smith, wraps her in impenetrable protection, the final word in the defense against the legions of heaven and hell. Fury's journey is a storm of pride, fury, loss, and redemption. She has faced the sins, the council, her own darkness, and emerged transformed. Yet, her saga is not over. The Horsemen are summoned, the seventh seal is broken, the apocalypse dawns anew. What role will Fury play in the coming war? What secrets remain in the ashes of creation? If you crave more tales of apocalypse and legend, join me for our next Odyssey, where we dive into the story of Strife, the Horseman Assassin. Like, comment, subscribe, share, and smash the hype button for more epic lore. This has been Vigil from Video Game Lore, and I will see you all in the next one.